If I could only keep 15 products on my makeup collection, these are the 15 items I would keep. I saw Julia Adams post this video the other week and I love her videos so much. I honestly don't watch many beauty YouTubers, but she is someone that I watch pretty much every single video she uploads. And she did this video idea where she picked out the top 15 products, like her core products. If everything else from my collection disappeared, I can still do a full face of makeup with these 15 products. As I was just kind of prepping for this video, I thought it would be harder to pick only 15 products, but it was really easy for me to just pick like one thing from each category to make a full face, and I'm pretty happy with what I selected, so let's get started. So for brows, I only picked one product, and for me, I need to have some kind of brow pencil in my life, so I picked the Anastasia Brow Wiz. Now this is a brow pencil that has been out for years and years. I feel like it really is a staple for a lot of people, and a lot of brands carry a similar product to this where it's just like a skinny brow pencil, but something about this one, the texture is just perfect. It glides right on. It's not too pigmented. It's really easy to build up and then it blends out nicely with the spoolie. I just love using a skinny brow pencil, and this one has been my go-to for the past couple months. And I just fill in my brows really lightly, so here's the before and the after. Just like a little bit more structure is what I like for my brows. And then sometimes with my brows, I like to add a little bit of a brow pen for those like additional hair-like strokes and some kind of clear brow gel. But since I can only pick 15 products today, I picked like the number one I have to have, which is a brow pencil. Now I'm gonna jump to foundation. So you'll notice I didn't pick a primer because honestly, a primer is not like the most necessary product to have. If your skin is nice and hydrated, you did your skincare before your makeup, you're probably pretty safe to pop on your foundation and call it good. I just don't think a primer is necessary, but I think it can be a nice step to have if you want something that's like maybe a little pore filling or something more gripping to make your makeup last longer. But for me personally, on a daily basis, it's not a necessity. So that's why I didn't count it in any of these 15 products. But for my foundation, this was a pretty easy pick for me. I picked the Fenty Beauty Eavesdrop little liquid one. I'm actually currently panning this product and I'm really low on it, and I'm really debating on whether or not I want to repurchase it, but I just love this skin tint. So you can see that I have some acne and blemishes, and I just really like a product that has a light coverage to it, and then with any like blemishes that are still peeking through, I'll pop a full coverage concealer on top of that. But for the majority of my face, I don't really need a lot of coverage, which is why I prefer a skin tint. And this Fenty one just has a really nice kind of soft matte blurring finish to it. It is just beautiful, and I do have combo to dry skin, by the way. I know that Fenty just came out with their Luminous foundation, and I'm kind of intrigued by it, but I'm also just kind of over a super like luminous glowy foundation in general, so I don't think I'm gonna try it, but it does look really pretty. So I'm trying to hide my super red ear right now. My cartilage piercing is so angry. If anyone has any tips on how to kind of heal a cartilage piercing, let me know, because I've had this piercing for maybe a year now and it's still not healed. And part of me is like, should I just take it out and let it close up? I don't know. If you have any tips or tricks, please let me know. My ear needs help. I just love how my skin looks with that Fenty skin tint, and like my skin still looks glowy because again, I did my moisturizer beforehand. Now the next product I picked is my full coverage concealer. So like I just said, I like to use this to cover up any blemishes or acne that's still peeking through my foundation. And my favorite full coverage concealer is hands down the NARS Soft Matte Concealer. Last year I finished 2 of them, so I do keep 2 shades of this. I have one in my more tan shade, which is custard, and then my lighter shade, which is vanilla, and I just hit pan on this like a couple days ago. Can you see the tiny pan in the center? I just like to take a flat concealer brush and just dot that where I need the extra coverage. Yeah, if you have acne or just like, I don't know, hyperpigmentation, just things you need to cover up, this is the way to go. Then I'll just take kind of a fluffier concealer brush and use that to blend in the concealer. And really the only time I don't have to do this step is when I am wearing a full coverage foundation, but that is like rarely. Like on a day-to-day basis, I'm usually wearing some kind of skin tint. All right, and there is the skin. I love it. Okay, wait, I need to recount my products. I think I might have messed up. 13, 14. How am I only at 14? Okay, I ended up putting one product away. It was a lip liner. We'll get back to that later. But in place of it, the product I added is the Sigma Color Correcting Little Eye Brightening Duo. Now, I don't think this product is absolutely necessary. Like, I could just pop on my under eye concealer and call it good, but I love to have a little bit of brightening under my eyes, and I use this product alone a lot as well on just kind of like a no makeup day. I'm gonna show you the difference that this product can make. So I'm gonna take the lighter shade, again on that same little fluffy angled concealer brush, and I just tap it kind of right in this darkest area of my little under eye circles. It's just a little bit of discoloration down here. It's really nothing crazy. I know that, but I just love the difference that this product makes. Okay, so hopefully you can see the difference there with and without. It just kind of hides some of that discoloration that I have right in there, and it just makes my concealer look even better on top because the color is corrected. Sometimes I'll even bring it kind of right out here in this very outer corner of my eye. I've been really loving this brush for this step. This is one of the new Sigma soft coverage brushes. It has the most perfect angle to it, and it's nice and like, it's kind of like the size of your finger really. If you were to use your finger and tap it in, like it's very similar to that. So you just kind of tap it right in there. So I love this product on its own or with a full face of makeup. I'm gonna jump around just a little bit. Let's talk about eyeshadow primer. I know I said you can skip out on face primer, but eyeshadow primer helps in so many ways. Depending on the primer you get, it can help with any discoloration on your eyelids. And most importantly, it gives you a smooth base to work with, and it makes your eyeshadow last so much longer than if you were to use nothing on your eyelids. So my favorite eyeshadow primer is the Rare Beauty one, and I like a lot of things about this one. First of all, I like the applicator. It's really easy just to kind of do a couple dots on your eyelids like that. And you can see that this one does have a little bit of a tint to it, so it is going to cover up any discoloration on my eyelids. I'm going to use that same concealer brush I've been using to tap in the primer. And I have used many different eyeshadow primers, and I just keep going back to this one. I'm going to do my under eye concealer so I can set both my lid and my under eyes at the same time. And this was the easiest choice for me today out of all of these 15 products. Of course, my under eye concealer is going to be the Natasha Denona one. I was just going through my camera roll, and sometimes I like to see like what was happening a year ago. So I like go through that little folder on my phone, and I found the picture of when Natasha sent me all of the light shades of this concealer. I think she literally sent me like 20 shades. So I have a picture of all of them, and I was like trying to decide which one is which, but that made me realize that I have been using this concealer nonstop under my eyes for a year now. I think that's the longest time I've like been obsessed with a concealer other than like Shape Tape maybe. But I'm gonna use the shade N3, and this is more of a serum concealer, so it's really lightweight under the eyes, but it is more of a medium to full coverage. I'll bring a little bit out here too. Packaging is fantastic. I love the shape of the applicator. It just fits beautifully under your eyes. It wears nicely. Like, what more could you want out of a concealer? Same angled concealer brush, blending that out. I'm not sure, but I think one of the claims of this concealer is that it's creaseless, and that is just like impossible in my mind. Every concealer is going to crease if you have creases under your eyes. It's just a fact. The only way to make something not crease is to set it with powder. Like if you're putting a cream in a crease, it's gonna crease. Speaking of creasing, you can see my eyeshadow primer is creasing, and that's because I didn't set it. So I'm just going to blend those out before I set it. Now for the powder I like to use to set my under eyes and my eyelids, I like a really lightweight silky powder, and I'm kind of stuck between two. The first one is the Lunar Beauty Universal Setting Powder. I have it in translucent light, but about a month or two ago I did buy the Givenchy Prism Libre powder that has been so popular for years, and I really like this one too because it has 4 colors in it that does really help with brightening, but I don't know, this was tricky for me. They're kind of similar in a way. I think I'm gonna go with Lunar Beauty just because I have had this powder longer and I've had like more experience with it. I like to pour a little bit of that into the cap. Before you go in with any powder, again, just tap out any creases that are happening. You don't want to set the product that is creasing. Does that make sense? And I'm taking one of those velour puffs and I'm just dipping it once into that powder, and then I smooth that puff on the back of my hand to get the powder nicely distributed on the puff, and it just gives you like a light layer of powder to work with because you don't want to overdo it. I've definitely overdone it with this powder, and then my under eyes will feel like super dry. So you're going to press, and whatever's left on my eyelid. I'm kind of setting like this whole area of my eye. All right, look at that difference. You can see just how glowy and shiny the unset concealer is and how much smoother this side looks. And then I'll just take kind of whatever's left over on this area, kind of like my lower cheek, because I get kind of shiny right here. I think my problem before is that I used to really pick up a lot of powder on the puff, but again, you just need like one dip into it, smooth it out, and then go in and set. Because you can see how much extra powder is coming off of my puff when I'm doing this. Then bringing it down my cheek and whatever's left on my nose too. Doesn't hurt to set the nose. And then I'll just take a little bit more of that powder on a big fluffy brush and use that to set the rest of my face. And I don't need much of this, so just like a light dusting everywhere else. All right, next is blush, and this was also such an easy pick for me. If you've been watching my videos over the last, I don't know, 2 months, you probably know what blush I'm gonna pick, and it is the Patrick Ta blush in Not Too Much, this specific shade. It's just the most perfect kind of neutral blush with the hint of pink in there, and you get a cream and a powder. So I'm gonna pick up the powder first on a blush brush. And what I like about this color too is that I have, what's the other one I have? Oh, She's Blushing, and that one's like way too pigmented. Like I just need such little amount of product with that, and it's like still too much. But this one, it's not too much. Not too much. Like I have been saying, if all of my blushes were to disappear and I could only keep one, hands down this one. Like I really haven't been using any other blushes other than this one for an everyday makeup look. And I like a lot of blush and I like to place it pretty high, so I'm almost like kind of right under my eye out here. Sometimes if I'm feeling lazy and like don't want to do eyeshadow, I'll also take this blush and just put it on like the outer part of my eyelid. I'm not going to do that today because I did pick an eyeshadow palette. And I also like a little bit on my nose. I literally put this all over my face. And then the Patrick Ta method for this blush is to do the powder first and the cream second, which sometimes feels so wrong. So sometimes I'll do cream then powder or just one or the other. I just kind of switch it up, but I just love how you have two in this compact. I think today I am going to add the cream on top, and this just adds a little bit of glow to the blush. So same brush, I'm just going to pick up that and kind of hit it more on the higher point of my cheek. It's kind of crazy, but the cream just like melts everything together so beautifully. Next, I'm gonna jump around to bronzers. So for this one, I picked the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. I have the shade Nude Bronze Light. I have honestly just been a huge fan of this bronzer for years, and a lot of Hourglass powder products in general are just so nice. This bronzer was part of my Project Pan last year, and I have had this bronzer for years and years, and it took me so long just to hit pan on it, so I really feel like this is gonna last forever. And Hourglass's powders just have a really nice glow to them. They lay really beautifully on the skin. They never look patchy or like too matte. And again, I think if all of my bronzers were to disappear, I'd be pretty happy with this one. And I'll just bring a little bit along my cheeks here. I look like I've been in the sun, but I'm fine with that. Let's zoom in and talk about eyeshadow. So for one of my 15 products, of course I wanted to pick an eyeshadow palette, and I was kind of stuck in between two palettes. The first one being the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 3. I just posted another video with this palette, but this is just my favorite everyday palette, mostly because of these neutral, kind of more cool tone shades down here. I love this as my transition shade. You have a matte white, you have a matte black, you have some creams for a liner. Like you can really do a lot with this palette. But then of course, my palette with Sigma. You know, for me, this palette has pretty much everything I love. I have my perfect transition shade here, my perfect highlight shade, a deepening up brown, a gorgeous champagne lid color, a couple more browns at the end here, and then if I want to do a pop of color, I have that option as well. So I think my final answer for this video is going to be my palette. I created it, of course, I love it. I'm just gonna do an easy eye look today, and I'm gonna take Basic on a fluffy crease brush, and I'm gonna blend this shade throughout my entire crease. Because I have so much blush on, I kind of want to make this look a little bit peachy. So I'm gonna pick up Peachy. And I just picked up a little bit of that. And I'm gonna place this on like the very outer part of my crease so it like almost kind of connects with my blush out here. Just to add like a little bit more warmth to this look. And then I'm gonna take Champagne Problems on my finger and I'm gonna pop that in the center of my eyelid. To add a little bit of shimmer to the lid, but the shade is so light that it's not too much, but you can really build this up if you want to and make it more intense. But I kind of just want something softer today. Now I'm going to switch to a small crease brush with more basic on the tip of this brush and just run that along my lower lash line. And also a little bit of Peachy on my lower lash line. And then I'm picking up Bright on a pencil brush and popping that right in my inner corner and a little under my brow. All right, so there is the eyeshadow before and after. Just something very soft, kind of springy, a little bit summery. I feel like I can't say summer yet because it is still so rainy in Oregon, but I love this softer look. I'm gonna finish up this eye before I do this one. So next is mascara, and this was also a very, very easy pick for me. So I picked the Tower 28 mascara. Now I love both shades of this. They have it in a brown and a black. Today I'm gonna use the brown shade Drift. Now this is a brand new tube that I just bought myself at Sephora. I restocked on the brown and black because my tubes were just pretty dry. I think I had them open for a little bit too long. It was starting to look clumpy, and your lashes should not look clumpy with this mascara. Just look at the slight curve of this wand. It really does such a great job at grabbing every single lash. I'm just gonna give my lashes a quick curl here. My natural lashes have just been giving me a little bit of trouble recently though. I got a lash lift, I don't know, about a month and a half ago, and as the lash lift grows out, sometimes lashes can start looking a little bit funky, so they're not perfect right now, but you know, it's doable. And sometimes I'll do mascara on my bottom lashes. Sometimes I'll skip it. I think I'm in a skipping mood today, so I'm not gonna put any on my lower lashes. Okay, I went ahead and did my other eye, and now the eyes are done. I have just been so much more into a softer eye look recently, which is like so crazy for me to think about. Like years ago, like I would only do bold glam makeup, but now I'm more like in a soft girl era, I guess. Now at this point, I like to set my face with a setting spray, and I was kind of in between two setting sprays. First being the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish and the Urban Decay All Nighter. Now I really like both of these. I think All Nighter is the best setting spray for long lasting makeup, but I also love the finish that the Charlotte Tilbury gives my skin. It just like sinks everything down and makes it stay. So I think I'm gonna go with Charlotte. And I like to do this after my eyes are done, my mascara is done and dried and everything. Ugh, and it just feels so good. And now while my setting spray is still just like a little bit wet, it's not fully dried down, I go in with highlighter. Now highlighter was also such an easy choice for me. Of course, I went with the Rare Beauty highlighters. I have been using these highlighters nonstop since they launched, which I think is well over a year ago now. So these have definitely been a favorite for a long time. I have Pan in both of my shades here. So I have the lightest white shade in Lighten, and then the next lightest shade, which is Exhilarate. I do tend to mix these two together to get like my perfect highlight shade, but also like when I'm pale, I use this one. When I'm more tan, I use this one. So I am more tan today, so I think I'm just gonna stick to Exhilarate and just applying that on the tippity top of my cheekbone. Honestly, I feel like pretty glowy at this point. I don't really think I like need highlighter, but I have to pick this product out of my 15 that I can choose from. And then I'll just do a little bit down my nose too, and kind of right on my Cupid's bow. We are pretty much done now. Just the last step is lips. Now, to be honest, I'm not really a lip product girly. On a day-to-day basis, I just like a clear lip balm. I don't really wear pigmented or like different shades of lip colors. I like to stick to something that's pretty close to my natural lips, or just like a little bit lighter, a little bit more nude. I'm pretty basic when it comes to lips. Like I'm not really the type to experiment. I just want like a flawless base, a little bit of eyeshadow a basic ass lip. So I was sitting here staring at my 50 shades of nude lip colors and I was like, okay, if I could only pick one, what am I picking? And I decided on the Lawless Forget the Filler. It's the Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss, specifically in the shade Nudie. First of all, this is just a beautiful nude lip color. So I love this product because it is so easy to apply. It is nice and glossy. It is plumping, but it's not like one of those super duper tingly lip products. It's like, it's pretty manageable. And this product does come in a bunch of different colors, but this nudie one is just perfect for me for every day. And also when I'm looking for a lip product, I want a product that is going to fade away nicely throughout the day. I don't necessarily want anything too long lasting. I just want it to nicely wear away from my lips and then my lips just to look natural. You know what I mean? Like, how pretty is that? It is nice and glossy, has a little bit of pigment. It's a little bit more on the thicker side, but I don't really mind that. And you'll notice I didn't go in with a lip liner because out of my 15 products, lip liner is just not necessary for me. I know some girls love lip liner, but like, I couldn't really be bothered, and I wear the same lip liner pretty much every day no matter what. So my full face is done. I'm going to recount my products because I think I'm only at 14. Let me double check here. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Am I only at 14? Okay, now here's the million-dollar question. If I can add one more product, what am I picking? I have a couple options. I'm thinking either like a lip liner, a clear brow gel because I didn't use one, also even like a pressed powder because I am feeling just a little bit glowy right now, but it's like, which one is the most important? I didn't pick an eyeliner because I don't really wear eyeliner every day. Okay, I know I just said I'm not a lip liner girly, but I think I would go with lip liner. So like I said, I'm not picky about lip liners. I tend to just wear the same one every day. So I'm gonna pop on my Makeup by Mario lip liner in Smoky Pink. And I'm just gonna kind of fill around the edges of my lips. All right, there we go. Just a little bit of definition. Now, like I said, I'm feeling a little bit glowy, so I'm gonna go back in with my Lunar Beauty powder and just kind of touch up in some spots where I feel like I need it. Like right in this area. And then also the center of my forehead. All right, there we go. That is the full face of makeup, and I love how this turned out. I really don't wear makeup on a daily basis, but this is the kind of look that I like to do if I were to do makeup on a daily basis. But I gotta say, I really like how the eyes turned out. I liked adding peachy into my crease just to make the look a little bit more exciting, add a little bit more warmth, kind of make it more springy, kind of summertime. I think it's really cute. I had so much fun filming this video. I would love to know what your 15 products are that you would select if you could only keep 15 from your collection. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.